Blue whales are undoubtedly the largest creatures to ever exist on planet Earth. The largest animal that has ever existed is the blue whale. They can weigh upwards of 200 tons and reach lengths of over 100 feet. If you were to compare their size to an elephant, it would be like comparing an elephant to a mouse. That being said, if you were born as a blue whale, you would have so many problems in your life that you might wish you were actually a tiny little mouse instead. Let's take a look at why being born as a blue whale really sucks. Number 10. The parasite. As if being the largest creature on the planet isn't already bad enough, blue whales also have to deal with parasites. And not just any parasites, but some of the largest parasites in the world. There's a parasite called a whalebot, which lives inside the nostrils of sperm whales. You could even call them noseworms. Whalebots are about 2 meters long, and they have a sucker mouth that they use to attach themselves to the inside of the whale's nostril. This makes it hard for the whale to breathe properly, and they end up having to make more effort when breathing. This causes the whale to start expelling huge amounts of air from its blowholes. This makes the perfect environment for the female whalebot to lay her eggs. Once the eggs hatch, the baby whalebots make their way into the blowhole and onto the surface of the water. They wiggle around until they find another whale to latch onto, and then they do it all over again. So not only do blue whales have to deal with parasites on land, like mosquitoes or ticks, but they also have to deal with parasites in the water. Number 9. Their slow metabolism. Even though blue whales are the largest creatures on the planet, they actually have very slow metabolisms. It takes them about 3 minutes to digest one mouthful of food, and they end up spending about 2/3 of their time eating. Because of this, blue whales end up spending less time doing other things, like socializing, mating, or defending themselves against predators. Blue whales eat about 4 tons of krill every single day, and because they spend so much time searching for food, they don't have much time left over for anything else. All that time spent looking for food also means that blue whales are constantly exhausted. Because of this, they spend most of their time sleeping. When you think about it, sleeping doesn't sound too bad. But considering the fact that there are killer whales out there hunting you, it's a pretty risky thing to do. If you sleep, you may never wake up. Number 8. Orcas are their worst enemy. Orcas are probably the most dangerous threat to blue whales. Orcas hunt blue whales by ramming them and biting off chunks of their flesh. They will chase a pod of blue whales until one of them gets tired and separated from the group. Once they isolate one blue whale from the rest of the pod, it's basically game over for the blue whale. Orcas will work together in groups of 5 or 6 in order to isolate a blue whale from the pod. Then, once they get the blue whale alone, the orcas will start taking turns ramming the blue whale. This will tire out the blue whale, and then they'll bite chunks of its flesh and swallow it. 7. They have few predators, but they still get attacked. As we mentioned earlier, orcas are one of the few animals that will hunt and kill adult blue whales. However, there are also other creatures that will prey on blue whales, including humans. There was a whaling industry that developed in the 1800s where people would hunt blue whales for their oil. This caused the population of blue whales to decrease dramatically. Luckily, whaling is now illegal, but there are still people out there who hunt blue whales illegally. Blue whales are hunted for a number of different reasons, including to use their meat as a source of food or to sell their oil for profit. It's also believed that blue whale meat is a delicacy in some parts of the world. This may be true, but the blue whale is so endangered that you'd have to be crazy to go out hunting one. 6. Their size makes them susceptible to certain conditions. One of the worst things about being a blue whale is that their size makes them susceptible to certain health conditions. For example, because blue whales are so massive, they often suffer from obesity. In fact, a recent study found that the average blue whale weighs 20% more than it should. This is a problem because obese blue whales are more likely to die young or suffer from health complications. Another health condition that blue whales are susceptible to is heart disease. This is because blue whales have to work extra hard to pump blood throughout their massive bodies. Over time, this puts a lot of stress on their hearts, which can lead to heart disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in blue whales, and it's responsible for the deaths of thousands of blue whales every year. No. 5. They can't handle hot temperatures. One of the worst things about being a blue whale is that they cut and handle hot temperatures very well. In fact, if the water temperature rises by just a few degrees, blue whales can die. This is because blue whales need the cold water to keep their bodies cool. If the water temperature rises too high, blue whales can overheat and die. For example, in the summer of 2002, a heat wave in the Gulf of California caused the deaths of hundreds of blue whales. The water temperature rose to over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And the blue whales couldn't handle it. No. 4 loud noises give them a heart attack. It might seem strange, but loud noises can actually give blue whales a heart attack. In fact, scientists have recorded cases of blue whales dying after being exposed to loud noises. This is because blue whales have very sensitive hearing. They can hear sounds that humans can't even detect. And when they hear these sounds, it can trigger a heart attack. For example, in 2007, a blue whale was found dead on the shores of New Zealand. The whale had died after being exposed to noise pollution from a nearby oil rig. Number 3. Being trawled by humans. One of the worst things about being a blue whale is that they are sometimes trawled by humans. This means that they get caught in fishing nets and dragged along the ocean floor. When this happens, blue whales often suffer serious injuries. They can be cut, bruised, or even drowned. In some cases, trawling has even caused the deaths of blue whales. For example, in 2005, a blue whale was found dead on the coast of Australia. The whale had been trawled by a fishing boat and had become entangled in the net. Number 2. The seas are getting more acidic. The ocean is becoming more acidic, and this is bad news for blue whales. As you may know, blue whales eat krill. Krill are small shrimp-like creatures that live in the ocean. They are a major source of food for many ocean animals, including blue whales. But here's the thing. Krill are ocean animals with shells. And as the ocean becomes more acidic, it is becoming harder for krill to form their shells. This means that there is less food available for blue whales, and this is causing them to become malnourished. In some cases, this has led to blue whales starving to death. Number 1. Ship strikes. One of the worst things about being a blue whale is that they are often struck by ships. When this happens, the blue whale can be seriously injured or even killed. In fact, ship strikes are one of the leading causes of death in blue whales. For example, in 2010, a blue whale was struck by a ship off the coast of Australia. The whale was killed instantly, and the ship continued on without even noticing that it had hit a blue whale. Now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below. Which point do you think is the worst? Being born as a blue whale is absolutely horrible. From their giant parasites to their dangerous predators, blue whales have a lot of enemies. Not to mention the fact that they are constantly hungry and always exhausted. It's no wonder that blue whales are one of the most endangered species on the planet. Now check out why it sucks to be born as a frog. Or watch why it sucks to be born as a red-headed woodpecker.